Today I'm going to give you 5 game-changing tips that helps you from falling on the ground like I did.
I figured a voiceover would be the best way to maximize your learning experience, and the first thing we're going to start with is keeping our spine up. It's extremely important to do this because we're going to maximize our balance, be able to see what's going on around us, as well as have the ability to go heel side, toe side, and do 180s, or just be able to ride as easy as possible. Now, the biggest common mistake is people are hunched over, and I am being a bit dramatic just so we can understand it, but I get very limited on what I can do. It's really hard to make a heel side or toe side turn. I can't see exactly what's going on. So by keeping that spine more upright, it allows me to do turns, allows me to jib, but I have the most amount of balance and I can start being able to be a lot more creative. And I start doing stuff like those 180s we just saw there. Now, as we get low, we can still keep our spine up, and notice that my board is actually still flat. I get slight heel, slight toe, but I'm able to keep that spine up. So I was illustrating the fact that yes, we can get low by not hunching over, but we're getting low by getting our belly button to be as low as possible. So more to the story is, as much as possible, keep your spine up. It's going to be extremely beneficial, whether it's just cruising, riding, or trying to do as many tricks as possible.
Another thing that is a game changer is being able to do knee steering.
And the reason this is a game changer is because you're finally getting the perfect balance of utilizing your board and body to create turns. Every time you're on your heel side edge, you're going to have 60% of your weight on your lead foot, and you're going to have your knee rotate open towards the heel side edge, allowing your board to pivot. When we're on our toes, we're going to get our knee to shift over our toes, causing the board to pivot again. Now, the best part about this is you're going to be able to use this tactic whether it is mellow, generic turns like I'm doing now, or we start getting into some really steep, gnarly terrain. We're going to be able to have the ability to control our turns. And because you're watching this video, you're literally at such an advantage over most snowboarders, because 90% of people do not know how to turn proper, and it's literally plateauing your riding. And it's just making snowboarding less fun. Imagine having the freedom to go fast, slow, or do whatever you want, and all you got to do is implement this single thing. Now, we are also piggybacking. My spine is upright and I'm using that knee to turn. In addition, one of the other amazing things is you can use this same tactic for when you're riding switch. Notice how these turns are very smooth, very elongated. I'm also getting turn shape, which means I can go left and right, and it's not just pivoting the board around. But what you do not want to do is get in this super weak position while you're leaning back and your lead shoulder is super twisted. This is not an awesome position, and this is going to make snowboarding way less fun, way more painful, and just not awesome, because there's so much more fun to have. So if you can dial in this knee steering, you can do really rapid turns just like this. If you feel like you're struggling with some turns, definitely check out the list of videos I will put down below. That is going to be more in depth and more visual examples of how to turn and make you more awesome.
This is absolutely going to be the most important rule/law that you will ever need to know when it comes to snowboarding. So the goal is to always be leading uphill.
And as you just saw there, you will catch an edge if you don't follow this rule. So when you're on your heel side edge, you want to make sure that your spine is upright and that you're letting your belly button be stacked over your heel side edge. When it comes to the toe side edge, you want your shins to be pressed against the front of your boots, your hips forward, and your shoulders/belly button over the toe side edge. No matter what I'm on my heel side or my toe side, I am always leaning uphill. Now, as I'm going straight down the fall line, yes, I can have my weight over 60% over my lead foot, allowing me to do really cool turns like this. But anytime I actually commit to the board to go a little sideways, then I'm always leaning in that direction of either the toe side or the heel side edge. Again, as I get more across the fall line, I'm leaning forward, I have my shins pressed against the front of the boots, and I'm in a nice spine upright position. On my heel side edge, the same thing will apply. And then as I start linking these together, I want to make sure that I'm patient with my turn. So every time I do a heel side turn, I will make sure my board goes to flat, even though it's a brief second before I create the next turn, and vice versa. So I can start doing really fun things like I'm spinning, and yes, this might look advanced, but the goal is to always be leaning uphill, whether you're spinning one way or the other way. This is the fun slash sketchy exercise to make sure that you can stay uphill, but definitely the consequences can be a little rough. But the more of the story is you can do really fun maneuvers, tricks, sliding, playful stuff once you really understand keeping your belly button always leaning uphill and your board always leaning uphill. And again, if you don't do that, you'll absolutely catch an edge. And then obviously as you start doing some freestyle stuff, it's also pretty darn relevant.
This next one has to be the most overlooked and underutilized tip ever. You have to anticipate everything, which also means you need to be able to look around. Things that you're going to be looking for is other people on the run and what they're doing. What is the snow conditions? Where is this run going? Are you in the farthest left lane trying to merge to the exit on the right? So anticipating as much as stuff as possible. So we're going to cruise down a little bit further and we're just going to point out some stuff on the voiceover. Let's go.
First, let's start with this mellow terrain here. Because there was a hill above, I definitely had enough speed, so I didn't have to worry about keeping my speed. I could play around and do a little bit of carves, but the more you can anticipate the terrain, the better chances you are of either having fun or staying safe or just being more successful. So being able to anticipate these areas like this left side, I am specifically looking for shade and shadows and ice within those shades and shadows, and then the terrain gets a little bit steeper. I'm keeping an eye on the people below me. There's also a slow sign, so I want to make sure that, you know, if there's a red jacket, yellow jacket, anybody jacket there, I can slow down and be respectful, but it's a slow zone, so I'm slowing down anyways. There's a fun little roller coming up, and I love to spin it, but as I spin it, I was looking below to make sure there was no one there. This time of season, it's not blind, and there's no jumping sign, so I wasn't worried about jumping it, but because it was mellow, I was able to see underneath. Now this section gets really slow, and you have a lot of people who are going fast as well as really slow, so I'm kind of anticipating I need to keep up my speed, watch out for shadows, make sure that I'm not constantly on a flat base. I'm always on a slight edge, which gives me a little bit more traction, a little bit more grip, and options for whatever comes up. And then normally this run goes to the left, but there's like people that may cross over, so I'm watching over. Plus I use these hand gestures as blinkers all the time, so people know what's going on and what I'm doing. But also I'm letting my filmer know that I'm gonna go to the right, because there's usually people that are on the bottom side and I plan on stopping. So I was gonna stay on the high side, watch for people, as well as just navigate my filmer. Plus there's a fun little spot to do a little bit of a tail block, so definitely nothing wrong with that, but anticipating everything is a big deal. As a fun bonus tip, we're going to go to a little bit of an intermediate slash advanced riding, little tips and tricks. Here, I'm playing around and utilizing the ground, trying to do as many cool different things as possible. Of course, just paying attention, watching out. But you can use these little things on the side, like little side hits. We're going to hit one in just a second. So we're going to be able to like manage our speed. I'm starting to go faster, get on a toe side edge, try to do a sit grab. Hopefully you guys think that was cool. It's called a seatbelt. Then I was going to do a nose and tail. I'm utilizing the train to try to have fun and utilize it as a playground. So I'm using these little rollers, which are kind of hard to tell in this camera angle, but the little rollers I can boost off of, keeping the principles that we've been talking about all day. The same things apply. And then I start using the side, like the ground is falling off on the side, working on some little rail tricks and being able to just utilize what is underneath my feet. There's a constant amount of things that are changing, and so I think like being able to play around and be in a position that allows you to have that ability to be balanced, powerful, pop, add tricks, have fun, do spins, all comes back to having fantastic and pretty awesome fundamentals. By the way, if you're looking for any coaching or you want some help on your fundamentals, check out TB Snow Camps, where I host a summer camp every single summer. We're already 50% sold out, so if you're looking for a spot, I would suggest picking up your spot as soon as possible. It is literally the place to get coached, whether you're trying to hit an airbag, hit a rail for the very first time, do a backflip for the very first time, or just work on some switch riding and some freestyle riding. Definitely check out tbsnowcamps.com. Moving on with this video, I love to do carving at this time of day. It's early morning and the ground is amazing, and you can see that it's still groomed, so I can get a lot of grip in the snow. I can do a nice little fun little jibs, but the snow conditions are so predictable. And that's one thing I love to do is I ride between 9 and 12 or 9 and 1 o'clock every single day. And then I come home and edit for like 12,000 hours. But this is an absolute beautiful thing to talk about, is anticipating people's behavior. So I was going to hit this jump, which we've seen before, but there was a skier guy who crossed underneath the roller. And at the end of the day, it's actually my responsibility as the uphill rider to pay attention and make sure that I'm not taking out the skier. So if I were to jump and hit that dude, I would be liable for everything, whatever happens, losing my pass, that kind of thing. But that doesn't mean that we can't have some fun along the way. So we're going to try to hit this thing, go up, hit a little jump, a little, have some fun. And I'm trying to get some speed. And I know that there's some rocks here, but oh boy, that could have been really bad. So the goal was to jump as high as I can, but I wanted to do a 180, and then I didn't realize that my dude was that close, but he's also super aware of what I was doing, so that ended up working out super freaking awesome. So definitely a good vibe, but thing that we haven't talked about is finding the right people to ride with is like such a big deal. People that are the same skill level or slightly above you, somebody who has the same awareness and has the same energy and vibe is definitely like a really big deal. On that side hit, I was able to land and carve not super deep across the fall line. I think that's a big deal to not put myself in danger. Now we're going to do a little bit of carvies. I tried to lock it in. It's a little early. It's been a while since I've done any carves, but I'd love doing these like carves where you drag your knees. Almost lost it there, almost died. Holy cow. But we're going to do a little 180 going backside toe. Look how fun that is. A little rip. Almost died again, but that's all good. Super fun to be riding and doing carves like early morning, because it's early morning and no one's really there. And if you feel like you have any questions about the content, definitely join me every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, where I host a live stream / live Q&A / let's hang out and vibe as a community session. Again, that's 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on my YouTube channel every single Tuesday. Plus, if you're interested in picking up some awesome waterproof tech hoodies, gloves, outerwear, and goggles, definitely check out shopbennettech.com. That's going to be linked down in the description as well. Check that stuff out. We have amazing products, and our goal is to create high quality product that is going to last you all season. So on that note, my dudes, thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow.